How does culture influence marketing?
It will always be relevant purely because of the fact that it helps keep you honest. It keeps you at the curve of what is going on.
Marketing needs to move at the speed of culture,
which plays a role in shaping our sense.
Welcome to the Culture Code podcast. In this podcast, we'll be telling stories of how influential culture is in business. You'll hear from some of the African culture curators on how culture can be used to drive good results through marketing and advertising campaigns. Now, here's the host of the Culture Code podcast, Tebogo K.
The guy who's been in, that bodiless voice in the last few episodes is now actually allowed to speak.
Yeah, I've been let out to the closet. No, not let out of the closet. I've been let out from behind the curtain. He's out of the closet, ladies and gents. He's out of the closet.
You'll be glad to know we already started recording.
He's out of the closet, ladies and gents. Guys, welcome to another episode of Culture Code. Well, this one is a bit different, very different. I don't have a guest today on today's episode. Like I always go, on today's episode, we're hanging out with the so-and-so. So I don't have a guest today. I have someone who you've always had, talking in the background. He's actually now decided, well, we've decided that he needs to come out of the closet. Yeah, well, so folks, Brehndan Botha, how are you, brother?
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good.
Yeah, you're out
good.
of the closet.
I'm from behind the curtain.
Yeah.
I'm out from behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Culture Code. This is a little bit of a different episode today. I'm taking over from Tebogo. I'm doing the intro. He doesn't know that this is the way it's going to be done. But yes, I've been allowed out from behind the curtain to give a peek of the camera from this side. But today is Culture Code, and he's right, there is no guest today. In fact, what he doesn't know is that he is the guest today.
Jeez, man, I'm the guest? What the hell? Jeez. No wonder I was asking you, what's happening? Like, I mean, you don't have notes or something. Oh, I'm the guest. Oh, okay.
No. That's the brief. That's the brief. So we're lifting the curtain a little bit today.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Now I'm nervous now.
No need to be nervous. I think you've done this a couple of times.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure you've got this. You've got it taped, right?
Yeah. How do guests sit? Like
authoritatively.
Authoritative.
You're the subject matter expert.
Oh, okay. Jeez. Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not taking over from you. We're just what's your word? We're chopping it.
We're chopping it.
We're chopping today.
Yeah, let's chop it.
We're just chopping.
Yeah, we're chopping and let's chop it. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So listen, I just wanted to say that, from the other side of the camera, I've seen you now chatting with so many people from the industry, so many words, so many names from the industry that I think probably many of the culture vultures would have themselves only just heard. But here you've had an opportunity to chop and to to dig in, to ask some serious questions. What's that been like?
Sure, it's been a roller coaster. Eh? It's been up and down. We started this thing in Jan. Like in Jan, I think. Then we dropped our first episode like when towards the end of Jan, beginning Feb. Yeah. Sure, yeah. So, and you know how we recorded? Quite early on in Jan. Yeah. But I think because I was a little bit like, fuck, man. This is cameras, and I'm like, and I stutter, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to let this thing out,
It's a good thing we left those outtakes on the cutting room floor, right?
You know what I mean? And I remember you saying to me, no, man, relax, man. Just look, just put it out there. I mean, you will see how that goes. And I think ever since from there on, there's been a little bit of glitches here and there and whatnot. Sure. I'm not a on camera guy type of a guy, but I think, but because I love this, I think this is for me. This is a calling for me. I think I love this. I think doing this. We don't have. No one is paying us for this thing. But I think what the kind of people that we've met on the show,
Sure.
the kind of like conversations that we've had, it's been really nice. It's really been good. I think I've learned so much. I think from the guests that we've had here, I've learned so much. Like I think the insights to the industry, I think also just digging into personalities. You know what I mean? I think people in general. We've had like interesting people here. You know what I mean? I think knowledgeable people as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I think some of the conversations that you've been able to get to, which maybe we've only seen in the, in the likes of a biz community, maybe not even that bravely in print. But there've been some really nice insights that have come out from the different guests. You know, I mean, I think of Pepe, and we're bringing the kind of academic and the creative together, and looking even at the independence versus the networked agencies, and obviously there's a whole cultural dynamic that's at play in either one of those. I mean, for you, how does that talk into the notion of what culture code is all about?
You know what? It's. I've seen a lot of there's a lot of culture nuances or culture, play that actually came from independent agencies. I think those guys, they really are pushing the envelope. Joe Public, they're really kicking it. However, though, TBWA, we had Carl Wallaby. TBWA, they also do like a nice culture vibe there going on. I mean, with Ricky Rick, and a few other things. They've played in Guijo, and they've done kind of like nice. They have a nice way of approach to this culture thing. Clint came through as well.
Exactly.
He's also a network guy, but I think what they're doing with at Grid, just say, man, it's crazy. They just gave us now recently. They gave us the seconds at the marble seconds or something like that. Jeez, man, crazy stuff.
Exactly.
So well, even though I still feel like independent agencies have like a lot of like stronger a punch in terms of culture, how they're playing in culture. It's just my opinion. These guys are doing the things. They are doing the things where culture is concerned. That is, yeah.
And I mean, you're a well, we both are technically. I mean, ex-agency guys, in different ways. But me on the suit side, you on the creative side of things. When if you compare this to when you came into the industry, and some of the names, have been around, from those days. But if you look at when you came into the industry, what are you seeing now that's different to when you were starting out?
Sure. Well, a lot has changed. There wasn't a lot of culture when I came in. I remember I was actually brought into the industry by the RIP to her, Claire Harrison. Claire Harrison was my one of my lectures at Vega, and then she literally, and I said this thing to, because Carl knows Claire a bit, right? I said this to him. I said, Claire literally handpicked me, from Vega, to say, hey, come, I need a junior writer, so come and be my junior writer. So yeah, and Claire was copy. So she was a creative director at Shanghai, and then she invited me. It's like, come and hang out, come and spend time, and let's see if you got this thing that you say you say you're a writer and whatnot. And I went through I went through to Shanghai, and there was no culture play at the time. There was none. Like, well, you know what they were doing? They were taking campaigns. Well, campaigns would be crafted or conceptualized in English, and then they would then say, no, look, we need a translator to come and translate this piece of work into vernac and all like that. And I think those things they rarely work. I mean, if you do that, you can just see that this thing is
lose some of
popped.
the
This thing
magic,
is not working. Yeah, you know. And that's what I was doing at the time. Well, partially, I did that in the beginning with Claire, just like, because we were working on Mitsubishi and working on Pajero. Working on a few. Oh yeah, I actually launched the first Mango Airlines when it came into the industry. We launched that whole thing. So Shanghai, they have just won the pitch for Mango Airlines, and so I worked on that. I was on billboards and stuff like that. I never got paid, but you know what? You know, I wasn't to be paid because
you put in what you put in.
Yeah,
right?
you know, so there wasn't a culture play at the time. It was just like, even if there were, I think they were just playing, you know, just on the surface, you know, like, you know, they were not just really going deep into it. But I think one thing, the Claire's mind, beautiful mind, and then she was like, you know what, I'm gonna give you a platform to actually, you know, go in and give me conceptualize in your culture, in your background. How would you attack this brief? You know what I mean? And I think that's where the whole love for culture, you know, especially in the advertising industry, began, because and then I was like given this license, creative license to play, you know, and to just kind of like go in and do things, you know.
And that would have been quite brave at the time, right?
Yeah, I was a little young boy who just, you know, like, I didn't know much, but I think someone just entrusted me with giving me, you know, that self-belief, like, yo, you can do it. She gave me a couple of like, remember, she was my lecturer.
Right.
You know, so she also, I don't know what she saw in me, but she saw something, you know, and she's like, yeah, take it away, do this, do that. And I remember she would drag me into, I would be forced to kind of like present my own ideas, you know, into those meetings or presentations and whatnot. Yeah. So I would now go in there and say, yeah, this is how we do it, and you know, this is how they speak, and this is how they do things, when they say this, when they say that. So I felt like at the time I was actually also imparting knowledge with you know, with the OGs, you know, like, I mean, in those presentation whatever boardrooms, you know, like serious people, you know, like, I mean, Claire, Kevin Kleinhans,
right.
one killer, one sick copywriter that I also had to learn from, and Claire Harrison, Glenn James was the creative director who owned the agency. So that's pretty much what I think what I can remember. I think to your question, was there culture play at the time? There wasn't culture play. No, there wasn't culture play. And I think much later, you know, you started seeing, I think your Vodacom started doing things. MTN started doing spoofs, Jem Ellie spoofs, you know, like Zama, what, you know, those kind of things. Jem Ellie's said Tama, you know, that whole vibe, But there wasn't an intentional culture play as we seeing now. No. Now there's a proper, you know, culture fest campaigns. People are like, yo, we gotta do this thing.
Developed out of the culture into, you know, into
100.
the world. I mean, I think the first piece of work for me that I think, for, you know, really kind of says, oh, there was something conscious here, was probably the Vodacom work, you know, with Koleo Matoso and Yebo Gogo. That whole drive was still, I mean, it was still kind of here, not grassroots up kind of idea.
It was not grassroots.
But it started speaking to the need of an audience. And probably one of the first brands to recognize connecting with the culture of an audience to whatever extent they did. But that's the first real piece of work or campaign concept that really actually triggers for me the emergence of culture.
And you know, the funny thing is that even at the time, the culture talk was there. I think the culture talk has been there from the jump, but it was just like people just talking about it. You know, like, we culture led, blah blah. But the culture talk has been there in terms of like just people talking about it, but no culture curation, culture, like conceptualize it. Well, you know what all of those. It was just a buzzword at the time, or at the matter of fact, for a longest time. I think we started just seeing culture at play recently, actually. Very, 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 very recent. So that's keep them coming.
Let's keep them coming and get them better, right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. There's some dogs out there, dude.
Yeah.
Some dogs.
Dogs, yeah.
Yeah. When you're talking about how culture is applied in the creative space, or interpreted, there's some ones that just actually don't work. I know you've always got your favorite analogy of dancing for chicken.
Jesus.
Right?
Do you remember the Mesa recently? I think about 2 years ago or something like that. Mesa ad. The computer, is it Mesa?
Yeah.
Mesa, is it Mesa?
Mesa. Yeah.
Fuck. Yo, it was a terrible ad. I can't remember, but I know that it was a shit ad. It was a shit ad. Like and the obviously the reality is that they were not playing. They were not saying. They're saying we are targeting black audience. And then so how do we target the black audience? Because I think the whole culture thing is we are targeting black audience. We need to target black audience. And the culture is not necessarily about black or white.
Exactly.
Culture is culture.
Exactly.
It's South African people living in South Africa. If we are a brand, South African brand living in South Africa, how do you target a black? How do you target a South African? Nando's does that very well.
Very well.
Because they don't necessarily say we are targeting black people.
No,
they're just saying, well, we are targeting South Africans.
And they speak to the fabric of society, right?
Yeah.
And the message, and I mean, to pick that up, culture in South Africa is layered.
Yeah.
It's not just an ethnic thing. It's not a racial thing. It's, do you identify as Zulu, Xhosa, Tonga, colored, white, whatever, Muslim? Well, I suppose that's not really an identification. It's more of a religion. But the point being, you've got those separations. Then you've got that separation of where you live or where you've grown up. I mean, I'm a Cape Flats boy here. I'm a southern suburbs guy from Cape Town. And that's an identity. There's a culture associated with that. At the same time, I'm South African.
You're South African.
At the same time,
you relate
I'm
to
African.
Everything else South African.
Exactly. And I think in South Africa, we have that richness that we either choose to explore or choose to ignore. And I see that often with things like Heritage Day, and how we kind of got trapped in this notion of Heritage Day being a braai day. And it's an easy go-to because it cuts across everybody. It cuts
across everybody.
Right.
So that's a culture thing.
It's a culture thing.
However,
but it's not truest.
No, it's not truest.
It doesn't actually get down to what the notion of culture is, because at the same time, yes, I'm a Cape Flats guy, but I like amapiano. So right? what does that say?
You are a South African.
There you go.
You're a South African.
And I suppose this is some of the challenges in the marketing and advertising space, right? We're not an homogenous group of target market. We're not even heterogeneous to that extent. We're almost amorphous. We just maybe we lack some definition. That's why things are a little bit as
the way they are. Because you know what, these pieces of work that goes out there, they are approved by people, by us. You know, like we had Vilosha here. She's a CMO. She would be approving some of the ads that we see. Well, her and her team, they would be approving some of the things that we see out there.
Right.
And whether we say, but this is a shit ad, this is a shit campaign or whatnot, but someone else approved it. So we really can't also say it's an agency problem. It's a marketing and advertising problem or creative problem.
Yeah.
Advertising / studio creative,
It's making me think of in my suiting days, you would always have the conversation of, it all starts with a brief. And the brief all starts with the intent. Right? So what is the client wanting? What do they put in the brief or not? And then what's the brief that goes into studio? And how does the creative team pick that up and serve it back to the client? And I suppose it is, at the end of it all, it's what it really comes down to is it's all about the brief. It's all about the good brief. It's what do we want to get out of it, and then who's the people putting the brief together, and who are the people signing off the work.
Which also, I think, now that you say that, I'm thinking, do we maybe have a problem with, because we've asked a lot of I think we've asked Pepe this, where we were asking him, do we have a creative crisis in the country? But now as you are saying, I'm thinking, could it be that we have a marketing professionals problem in the country, in a sense that, because what you sometimes, not all the time, what you receive, the output is influenced by the input, right?
The input, yeah.
So what the marketing manager or whatever, and the marketing manager, marketing director, what they would have put out there to the agent to say, this is what we're looking for. And
exactly.
And we sometimes, I think the industry is somewhat very hard to creative studios, as opposed to being hard to
where it starts.
To where it starts, the marketing, because the marketing.
You've been client side as well. You know how it works.
I was, but I think my stint in marketing, because I was SABC and Universal Pictures, so there it's easy. It's not FMCG, it's entertainment. So we're entertaining, and I think one of the things that I would be briefing agency on is like, yo guys, listen, we got this title. It's a big, it's huge, blockbuster and whatnot. And I think there for you, how you were selling that compared to when you're selling FMCG, completely different. Because already people are already buying into, this is Denzel Washington. You know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, okay, Denzel. I think even we would do a lot of like stints. Like those, they call them a sting. We used to call them stings, like a 15-second sting. Like it's like a trailer, but it's not a trailer. It's a trailer for, like it's something, created for that, to market that, like coming, that God voice thing.
Yeah.
So that's how we would do it. We wouldn't be doing it in a more ad. But now the most of the budget, we would be spending more money in terms of the media,
right?
Putting that thing out, like we would go like hard in terms of like media spend, it'd be huge. But I think in terms of what the studio does, in terms of the creative that comes out of there, no, it wasn't much. There wasn't like super hectically clever stuff. It was more like, okay, we're gonna take funny snippets from here, and then put them into a sting, and then we're gonna flight these things at news at 8 on ETV or on SABC 3 or whatever, because like depending on what the title is, so there wasn't a lot of like a hectic conceptualization, even for SABC. For SABC, for me, I was brand manager for SABC News. We were marketing the news.
Right.
Right. If you ask me now, it's like, I was like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Talk about your fast-moving consumer good.
You know what I mean? Because I was coming from agency at the time, so I was like agency, and then client, and then I'm like, okay, SABC news, fuck. But it taught me a lot, it taught me a lot because there we were not doing ads. Well, we were doing ads, but I remember there was an agency in Cape Town, Masters and Seventh. You know, remember that?
Oh yeah. Masters and Seventh.
Yeah. You know, like I remember getting to. I was coming from creative, getting there and like I'm briefing these guys, and I'm feeling all like, yeah, you guys used to bomb my ideas on the other side. Now I am that guy. This idea is shit. Yeah, but anyway,
I'm back, bitches.
Yeah, I'm back, bitches. You know, but it was nice. I mean, like I also learned quite a lot of stuff there. I think it was very nice. I mean, but then again, I think that's as close as a client, as close as like approving creative, like conceptualization, ideation. I think that's where it was. I think for SABC with Masters and Seven, like that's where it was. Masters and Seven actually went under. It's no longer there.
Yeah.
It's not there anymore.
Yeah.
That's where it was. That's where it was for me, because I mean they would come up with like, yeah, we're gonna dress your presenters, your news presenters in a certain way. You're gonna see Leanne Manas working in like this. You're gonna see Vuyo Mbuli, RIP to him, Vuyo Mbuli, you know, very witty, nice guy, you know. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I might have been a shit brand manager or a shit marketing manager at Universal, but hey, man, I did my thing, you know. So yeah,
put some stuff into the world.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, you know, I think that whole thing around the Manus Mbuli team, you know, I think that also it transformed the way we viewed actuality and the way we consumed actuality, right? I mean, Vuyo, I think he just transformed what that morning looked like. The interaction between him and Leanne, and how they responded to each other. And I think it also very much almost mirrored how South Africans were responding to each other. You know, I mean, I remember
because they had that thing in the morning where they would kind of like go at each other. Oh yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then you know, Leanne was all kind of very, very prim and proper to begin with, and then Vuyo would come in with his sharp, and his, you know.
Yeah, Brent, have you seen how I say when I'm closing off the show here? I say peace.
Yeah.
What the fuck? This is not peace. This is sharp. You know what?
Sharp.
That's what I'm doing. Like sharp. SABC. See how things work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember eventually Leanne started picking up on this, and Leanne was also going like, so Vuyo would go sharp, and then Leanne would go, or Vuyo would go sharp, and then Leanne would go sharp, and then Vuyo would always have the last word.
Yeah.
It would always be sharp,
Sharp.
or hey tada, you know. But yeah, I mean it's how our engagements evolve. It's how we learn from each other. It's how we take things on, how we take on identity, and you know, those sorts of things.
So now I think let's put this on you now. Let's shift this thing.
I'm behind the curtain, bro.
No. You are here now. You are here. And I think maybe just I mean the vultures would also want to know who's Brehndan. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we always the guy behind the curtains always talking, but who is Brehndan? You know, like, I mean, I know you came from the advertising world yourself as well, but more on the suit side. And then you went over to what Diageo. Yeah, well, actually, let me let you tell us.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I've been around the marketing world for 90% of my career. I started out in the PR world, actually. Took my first job at a PR agency at the time called TWS Communications. Was part of the AdCorp group. And then there was a merger. Talk about cultural clashes. There was a merger, and it became Semeka TWS because they merged with Semeka Communications. And then from there, I stepped into a space where I ran my own agency, and did some work for Telkom, the Metro Rails, Woolworths of the world, and that was great fun.
Nice.
Was a really good learning platform, you know, and eventually even put my feet under a desk.
Did you write copy? Is this where you're getting the wit from? Because we like throwing.
Look, I've been a bit of a wordsmith.
Yeah.
I enjoy writing.
Yeah.
I enjoy, and I suppose it comes from years of proposals, and I've done some copy on brochures and editing and those sorts of things. So it's part of the makeup. It's part of the skill set.
Yeah.
I wouldn't by any stretch of the imagination call myself a copywriter.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm definitely a wordsmith to a greater or lesser degree.
Yeah.
And eventually stepped into the advertising world just after YNR South Africa and YNR Gitam merged.
Jeez, yeah.
So we're talking about back in the days, Gitam was under Gerry Heineke at the time. And they merged, and Gerry brought me into YNR, and there I was client service director for a couple of years, looking after the business across Africa, Europe, and Middle East, on the client side, client business, and that was my last active foray into the marketing and advertising side, before I got lured by corporate. And that's when I went over to Diageo, in fact Brand House at the time, and started looking after the marketing procurement portfolio on that side. And from there have just continued. So I produce for Culture Code, but at the same time I also have a consultancy, a practice where I work with business owners to help grow and improve their business and meet goals. So I'm a little bit of a box, It's got to be unpacked with a whole lot of things. But also definitely interested in the impact of culture on our businesses, on who we are, how it shapes us, how we engage with people, because in the end it's about relationships. And culture talks about the basis of our relationships. What do we identify as? Who do we identify with? What do we accept? What don't we accept? It sets the norms for all sorts of relationships and all sorts of social structures, and I think the nuance comes in being able to identify that, interpret that, and then being able to serve that back to your audience. And I remember my time in YNR, we were always talking about the best work comes from a simple human truth.
100%.
And I don't think you get as simple human truth as culture. Because it really shapes who we are and how we respond. And I think when we get that right, the messages resonate. So let me throw it back to you. Because neither of us are in the creative industry as such any longer. Culture Code. I mean, what was this? 3 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You woke up and went, Culture Code.
Culture Code. Well, Culture Code was born out of in the back of, because I think after when I left Universal Pictures South Africa, and then I was on my own. I started, like moving around. I did a lot of I'm essentially a culture consultant, so to say. So
a true culture vulture.
I'm a true culture vulture.
Right.
Yeah. So and I've done a lot of. I've worked with a lot of agencies where I would come in and they say, we want to speak to. Or we have a piece of work. We're working on a brief with an FMCG brand in Ghana or West Africa or whatever it is, and we would like to. We have this concept, but we would like to now make this concept be relevant in this part of the world. How do we go about it? So that's when now I'll be like, okay, this is how we do it. This is how we go about it, and what. So that's what I've been doing for a while, and I'm still doing it. I'm still there. I think that's my 9 to 5. Well, I don't have a fucking 9 to 5, but. but yeah,
always on, dude. Always on.
Yeah, I'm always on. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what I do. But I think one of the things that also now that kind of pushed me to say culture code. And I think I started now doing commentary. I used to do commentary on, and this was in COVID, COVID-19, 2020. I mean, we were all at home. I was bored. I was like, actually, what do I do? I started now recording myself, like, culture commentary to a certain extent,
Okay.
And then I would talk about how, okay, we've seen this ad. I think this ad is, not the best ad, because I've always, and I wanted to also be controversial. I wanted to be like, actually, I think this ad is shit. But I didn't have the balls to actually say that at the time, because the people that I was working with, I was working with some of these brands and some of these agencies and whatnot. So, but a lot of the material that I recorded then, I never actually publicized that material, because I felt like also it was not so honest. Because remember, I was now in deals with a lot of agencies, brands and whatnot. So I couldn't be honest and say, actually, I think KFC ad is shit. Well, it was not shit at the time. The KFC ad, there's the KFC wedding. I actually did a commentary on that.
Okay.
So I've done commentary on a lot of Absolute Vodka. I've done a lot of these things, but I was not publicizing these things. I think also I haven't found my voice yet as like to be comfortable, a license to play type of a thing. So I was like, I was doing all of these things, and I was like, but it was audio, it was not visual. And I think at the time I didn't actually even have an idea of a podcast. It was like, I'm just gonna record myself and just gonna put these things on Twitter, X or whatever at the time. But I never did, because I was also like a little bit like, I don't want to piss people off and whatnot. Because even now for Culture Code, I don't want to piss people off. And I know you always tell me that it's a contradiction also, because I think if you are true to self,
exactly,
true to the art, if it's shit, it's shit.
If it is, it is.
If it is, it is. Yep. So I think fast forward to 2020 COVID, and I was like, I think we gotta take this thing and put it into a podcast. I put it into something like, where we can engage with these people, where we can talk to these people and say, hey, you worked on this campaign, what inspired this, But I think that's how Culture Code was born. But I think the real Culture Code intention is to celebrate greatness, to celebrate all the people that are doing great work in the marketing, advertising space, and you gotta give them like a hey man, we see you, you know. And I think not in a way the way Louis do it, because sometimes at the Louis or Cannes or whatever, they don't necessarily. There's a way how things are. They award creativity, yes. They have a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
But I think, and then they don't get to sit you down and say, hey, tell us about what you're doing, how you did it and whatnot. It's like, yeah, you did well, kudos, yeah, bye, But I think here it's like, let's celebrate you. Let's have you come here. Tell us about what makes you tick. Sometimes you've seen we don't necessarily talk much about. Sometimes it's not about work. Sometimes about the person. Like it's more about, because this thing is unscripted. There's no scripts here.
Yeah.
But I think it's more about who are you? You are Jerry Pufani. You've moved around. You've done this. Let's find the gems. Let's find So let's celebrate such people. Let's celebrate Carl Wallaby. Okay, you've just now been crowned the chairman of the Creative Circle, Veli. You just won the big account, the Absa account. You're doing great things. How is that like? And I'm hoping that shit will rub off. I'm chilling with Pepe. This thing might just fucking rub off.
No, but but dude, look,
So I think to that. So Culture Code is to celebrate greatness while we also. So it's to celebrate. So Culture Code is to celebrate greatness. Through celebrating greatness, I'm hoping that we will also inspire the new generation. The people that might think, hey, oh fuck, this thing is quite cool. You know, I wanna do this.
Yeah.
You know, while we're navigating culture as well. Because you know the reason why I'm doing this thing, it's because the 20-year-old out in Mafikeng growing up, you know, I used to watch. I used to watch a lot of Jeremy Max. It was Max on Media.
Yeah.
And I felt like fuck. And it was a short segment, you know, like it was like 30 minutes on ETV. You know, I used to watch that thing religiously. But I found Jeremy Max on Media quite late in my life type thing, you know. So this platform is to kind of like give to inspire the young one who is in Rustenburg, who is in Eitenach or whatever, you know, is in Alexandra, you know, if they happen to watch this. I mean, I don't know how far, because I know that the people that watch our show is not people that are young most of the time. There are youngins, but not as much. You know, I hope people get to plug the young ones to come and watch this thing. So that's why we are doing this. That's why we're doing this thing, is to inspire, is to celebrate greatness, is to also navigate the culture conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think there's an important thing you spoke about. There's the authenticity aspect, right? So yes, celebrate. And I suppose in what you're saying is where the truth lies. That simple human truth. It's celebrate greatness. It's celebrate excellence.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I suppose in marketing there are no participation awards. We're not rewarding the people who come 11th out of 12.
No.
Right? It's just not going to cut it. Because the culture doesn't tolerate it.
Yeah.
Or culture doesn't tolerate it.
No.
But unfortunately, I think many of the people coming up in their careers may come from that kind of snowflake,
right.
Sort of marshmallowy background.
Yeah.
And that can be a pretty rude awakening.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you've got people like Michaela who, who carving a path and who pioneering for other people to follow.
Yeah.
But it can be a very, very rude awakening.
It is.
And bringing those two worlds together in itself is challenging and is demanding.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers the piece of creative work that was number 5 in the list of finalists. They remember who won and who came second.
Yeah.
And so that's another harsh reality. So, but I think what's really important is the journey that it takes to get there.
Yeah.
You know, and you look at your icons of the industry, and you've had a couple of them on the show, and then you look at the up and comings, and you've had some of them on the show as well.
Yeah.
And they both speak to things that are relevant to the different. I don't want to say poles, but the different realities of an older audience and a mature audience and a younger audience as far as the industry is concerned.
Yeah.
So, what's next for Culture Code?
So what's next for Culture Code is creating properties. I think we've had a nice, you know, we had a nice run, and I mean, and I think, and I'm loving the fact that I think the industry is responding to this.
Been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you know. I mean, we've sat in tables that I was thinking, what the fuck? I never thought I would be like calling us to really what, you know. I was just talking to Gavin now earlier. He just came here when we were preparing, and he was like, yeah, I see you getting a nice what is the word?
Following traction.
No, traction. Yeah, I see you getting a nice traction. I'm like, yeah, actually. We've been people have been hitting us up like, yo man, let's, you know, I mean, even people have been saying, I want to be on the show. I want to be part of the show. You know what? I mean, obviously, but you know, some of the people are not really what we, you know, what we're trying to put out there. You know, but I think it's to build properties, and I think this platform is to serve. We are here to serve the industry. and we're here to inspire. We are here to celebrate you. We're here to celebrate greatness. You know, we are here to navigate the culture conversation. You know, I think if the industry can learn from this, if people, because the industry is what? It's people. It's those brand managers, marketing managers, CMOs, and strategists, creative directors, art directors, copywriters, you know, client service people. You know what I mean? So it's to, we are here to serve. You know, we're here to give conversations that I'm hoping that this conversation that we have here, that valuable, that will inspire people. You know, they'll inspire the new generation. You know, that wanna come into the industry. So I think let's build. You know, there's a whole lot of things that we've been talking about that we want to do. Yeah, we would like to shoot stuff. Lots and lots of material in New York. Exactly. In Amsterdam. Exactly. I've been talking to people like, in fact, a lot of South Africans actually all over the world. We've been talking to them. I really would like us to kind of like follow these guys around. Tourism, Tembi. So please.
SAA.
You need transport. You know, actually, the other day I hit up SAA. I think just after on LinkedIn, just after they announced that they're gonna be they're the transport now for the box.
Right.
The box. Fuck, I can't remember. But they are transport. Is the box or cricket essay? No, cricket essay.
We'll edit that part out.
We'll edit that shit out. Yeah. No. I think now they're transporting cricket essay. No, I think even the box,
No, but don't the box fly with fly Safair?
Fly Safair.
Yes.
No, I'm talking about Fly Safair.
So not SAA.
Nah, SAA is not even doesn't have roots, man. Doesn't have roots into the.
I'm talking about international. Fly Safair doesn't fly international.
Oh fuck, Fly Safair. Doesn't have. Oh yeah, but okay. But apparently SAA is gonna be opening up routes. Okay. Oh yeah. So SAA, Amsterdam, Germany. You know, there's a young guy that I've interacted with on LinkedIn. He's from KZN. He is in. Fuck, I'm calling him a young guy. He might not be a young guy. He is in Germany. He's a creative director. He's a chief creative officer for fucking Lego. You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was talking to him like, yo, man. He's like, yo, man. I'm out here. You know, I'm doing the things. I'm like, wow. You know, so yeah, these are the things. I mean, those are the things that I would want us to do, man. You know, go out there and because you know the funny thing also is that the people, our audience, our vultures, the people who mess with this, with us, particularly on LinkedIn, are actually international. I mean, when we post stuff on LinkedIn, the numbers that we get,
they're insane around the world, right?
It's
around the world.
We have, but you know why? Because we have South Africans who are not in South Africa, who are in different parts of the world, and they consume this.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? But like, it's so weird though. You know, it's so weird. But now, please guys, please watch the go onto YouTube. This thing does not just live on LinkedIn. Because I mean, it's pointless for us to see these big numbers on LinkedIn, but on YouTube the numbers are not there. Like it's like it's a bit of there's a gray area there. So I mean, and someone was like, yeah, no, you need to chop these things, guys. This thing, it lives on YouTube. Go on YouTube and watch the thing.
And watch however your time takes you, right?
You know what I mean?
Watch a chapter, watch it 15 minutes at a time, watch it 5 minutes at a time. It's there and it lives there and it's forever there. So go back and go and find it.
Yeah.
Go and find it.
Yeah. I mean, the interaction that we get, like, I mean, we got people in Amsterdam, we got people in London.
Yeah.
We got people in New York. They are always there.
They're always on.
It's always on.
Yeah.
UK also they're always there. Amsterdam, they're there. Netherlands, they're there. Auckland, New Zealand, and who else? Who else is there? I'm forgetting. Yeah, we have
truly around the globe.
Yeah, we have people there. But I think please subscribe to the channel, go on to YouTube and watch this thing and subscribe. And you can watch for 10 minutes, 5 minutes. You know, it's only an hour episode. It's not a lot.
Exactly.
I mean, Joe Rogan just sat with Donald Trump for freaking 3 hours.
Quite.
Yeah, you know, and podcasting is a new thing. You know, it's a next level shit.
As James Cameron said, everybody moans about a 4-hour movie.
Yeah.
But they would happily sit and binge Netflix for 6 hours.
Right.
Watch 6 45-minute episodes back to back.
Yeah.
It's a lunchtime.
Crazy.
You know,
crazy.
At best.
Yeah.
But yeah, Teboho, it's about at this time that I'm from behind the curtain going,
You're that guy. You're that guy.
Time to wrap.
It's like time to wrap up.
Time to wrap.
So I think your top, I don't know, top three guests that we've had here that you think for you stood out?
For me, that stood out. It's a tough question because you know they've all been fantastic in their own way, and their own contributions, and it's almost going to be a disservice to list them as top 3.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say, you know, some of the most dynamic guests.
Yeah.
That we've had on the podcast. Very definitely Jerry Mpufani's been one.
Yeah.
Very definitely Michaela.
Yeah.
You know, and
Michaela
again,
came
the
in.
work that Michaela and her team have done.
Yeah.
Again, as part of the cultural fabric of South Africa,
and she's young,
is
man.
fantastic.
Fuck.
It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
You know. And then you've got guys like Clint. Veli is definitely in the mix, so you know, and of course you can't forget Pepe.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the star of the show.
Exactly, Pepe. Shout out to you, bro.
Shout out to Pepe, man. Jeez.
But it's
Pepe.
look, it's been a crazy ride. I mean, you know, you've had some fantastic names on the show, and just having not mentioned anybody by no means takes away from the value that they've brought. So thanks for the unfair question.
Yeah.
But I just think, you know, there's
I can only ask it to the men behind the curtain.
Right.
I can answer that question.
But and I just think you know, if people go in and watch the content, the value and the insights they are going to draw from some of these major contributors in the industry, it's a learning right there.
Yeah.
It's an absolute learning right there. So I think it's just it's been a great year so far.
It's been a great year. It's been a great year. Yeah. And I think also let us know if you want to see this. You know, you want us to sit here and talk like this, create because we spoke about creating entities out of this. You know, there are entities that are like branded or whatever. But I think for us here, you know, this is the entity. If the vultures want to see us have this, if it's more, you know, more of up your alley or if it's in your vibe, let us know. Let us know in the.
At the same time, you know, let us know about who you want to see in the seat.
Yeah.
Who you want to hear from out of the industry, even campaigns. I mean, I'm going to put the call out right now and say. Yeah. Any of the agencies, any of the creative guys out there, even the marketers on the client side, if you guys feel you've had a particular piece of work that have answered the cultural impact on South Africa's landscape, hit us up.
By all means, hit us up.
Drop it in the comments, drop an email, just shout it out. Let's have that chat. I think one of the biggest values we've had has been the opportunity to talk about good work, talk about good people, and talk about great impact.
100%.
Phenomenal stuff.
Yeah. Jeez, man, you are really the man behind the curtain, eh? You know how to close this thing, man. You know how to close this thing. I'm
subscribe, and ring the bell.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, jeez, man. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sure. There's a lot of things that I wanted to talk about, but hopefully we'll do this thing next time. Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah. So
Callum does kendo. He's gonna hit us over the head with a stick if we don't start shutting down. But so vultures, there you have it. To the culture vultures out there in ad land, in marketing world, this is the Culture Code, and this is Teboho K.
Thank you. Jeez, man, what a nice one, eh? Jeez, man. Yeah, no, I should learn from the OGs. Eh? I'm always stuttering here. But yo, that's it, guys. That's it. Culture vultures out there. Thank you for the support, guys. We really appreciate you. We out. Peace.
The stories are being told by the culture. Culturally, how people think is slowly dictating what the advertisers want to move towards. It needs to catch up, but what you find is that marketers who need to implement the speed are backwards themselves. Marketers who are not forward thinkers. We need brave marketing or marketers that can influence culture.